What's up, guys? Spenny. Professional stand-up comics would call a room that refuses to laugh at your jokes a dead room, a tough crowd. And you're at risk of bombing when nobody is emoting with the comic on stage. Obviously, the comic's job is to crack the audience, get that rolling laughter, and then more people laugh. It's why they add laugh tracks to sitcoms as well, to try and get you to laugh at home. But there is no tougher crowd than a bunch of generals who actually aren't allowed to laugh. And Donald Trump, who is very much a comedian, probably the funniest man to ever be president, without a doubt, had to address all of his generals, admirals, and flag officers today at the Pentagon. And this is what that crowd looked like. Again, these officers are sworn by an oath to be apolitical and to not applaud and to not laugh and to sit and follow orders from their commander-in-chief. And that is why they, look like this. This guy. Yeah, this is the audience. This is like, if you're a comic, this is the single toughest room you could possibly play to. If you're a comic, this is your nightmare right here. Seeing this as your audience. And this is what Donald Trump faced today. And so Trump decided to get the audience to crack by telling an N-word joke. You can't write this. It just is what it is. Donald Trump makes N-word joke. It does fall flat as America's top generals laugh awkwardly. Oh, no. No, Trump, what you doing, man? Okay, here we go. Comedy gold, Donald Trump tried to soften his military leaders with a series of jokes that didn't quite hit the crowd of top brass. The president spared no expense, gathering of every single general from across the world at the Marine Corps base in Quantico Tuesday. His speech proved to be largely meandering as Trump found himself addressing a largely silent crowd of military generals rather than a raucous, overtly supportive audiences he typically commands. The president bragged that liberals don't even put up a fight when he wanted to rename the Department of Defense the Department of War, claiming there's been no fight. They've given up. They've had it with Trump. He claimed the first signs of wokeness in the military was in the 1900s when the War Department, which existed for 158 years, was renamed the Department of Defense. But those usual attack lines didn't hit. Trump attempted to soften the stone-faced generals with a series of quips at the top of his remarks, including making a joke about the N-word. There are two N-words, and you can't use either of them, Trump said, telling the room of leaders about the second N-word is nuclear. We can't let people throw that word around. I call it the N-word, Trump insisted, explaining how he would move one or two submarines to the coast of Russia after the Kremlin spoke about nuclear-armed adversaries. And this was this is what Trump was facing there. Okay. As he departed the White House for the unprecedented gathering, Trump suggested that some of the leaders could be losing their jobs. We have a lot of great people, real warriors over there. If they're not good, you know what happened? You're fired. Get out, he told reporters. If you don't like somebody, I'm going to fire them right on the spot, said Trump. Still, during the top of his speech, Trump told his generals to loosen up and even to applaud if they wanted to. You could do everything that you want. If you don't like what I'm saying, you can get up and leave the room, Trump said. But there goes your rank and there goes your future. No. This earned him a laugh from military leaders. Okay. Here we go. Here's the Trump N-word joke.
And it was really a stupid person that works for him mentioned the word nuclear. I moved a submarine or two, I won't say about the two, over to the coast of Russia, just to be careful, because we can't let people throw around that word. I call it the N-word. There are two N-words, and you can't use either of them. You can't use either of them. And frankly, if it does get to use, we have more than anybody else. We have better, we have newer, but it's...
Oh, man. The ball's on this guy to use that joke. And hot damn, did it get Trump some headlines. Trump refers to racial slur during address to the military. Trump says there are two N-words. Trump delivers bonkers N-word ramble to military chiefs. Two N-word videos shows Trump refer to racial slur. I call it the N-word. Trump goes off script. Okay. I mean, all right. It's interesting, these kind of headlines, because, well, Trump has done these kind of things before, right? This isn't the first time he said this. Trump has said this before on Fox News, for instance. Obviously, this is getting a lot of play and a lot of attention online. You can see the clip over and over and over again. Trump says there are two N-words that you can't use. Trump, there are two N-words, you can't use either of them. This is President Trump on the phone doing an interview at Fox. So he has used this line before. What is Trump droning on about? The N-word? Okay. Oh, no. All right. Yeah. And what Trump was really talking about, though, is the nuclear threat, obviously. Trump's nuclear warning to Moscow. President tells Kremlin America has more nukes than anybody else, and confirms that he sent lethal submarines off the coast of Russia. Putin wants World War III. He's not going to get it. Okay. This is Donald Trump reminding Russia that the U.S. has more nuclear weapons, has the most nuclear weapons in the world. Frankly, if it gets to it, we have more nuclear weapons than anyone else. We have better and newer weapons, the U.S. bragged. But it's something that we don't ever want to have to think about, says Donald Trump. Okay, that's the greater context, obviously. Here's Donald Trump's actual laugh line, though, as he, when he walked out, talking about like leaving, but then there goes your life. You can just feel nice and loose because we're all on the same team, says Donald Trump. Here we go.
Thank you very much, Pete. Great job you're doing, too. Fantastic job. I've never walked into a room so silent before. This is very... Don't laugh. Don't laugh. You're not allowed to do that. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud. And if you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank. There goes your future. But you just feel nice and loose, okay? Because we're all on the same team.
So Trump did crack the toughest audience on earth. He also cracked The View, which is so funny. The View had a meltdown over all of this, particularly Pete Hegseth saying that you shouldn't be fat in the military. You can see why they'd be offended. Ladies and gentlemen, a fun meltdown from The View, and obviously something that proves that Hegseth's speech and Trump's speech were right over the target, right? I mean, as late as The View are having a pathological, psychotic meltdown and panic attack, you do something right. There you go.
I'm actually really befuddled by why he did that. The optics were terrible, meaning all of our top military brass are all in one place, and we spent $6 million to get them there. That didn't make a lot of sense to me. It also didn't make a lot of sense to me that he was saying that he was going to toughen physical standards and review the anti-hazing policy by sort of implementing a hazing policy. And then also he said he was going to return to the highest male standard for combat positions because the troops were fat.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that was supposed to be an uplifting message for our military.
Maybe he's referring to Colonel Sanders.
It was really a bizarre thing. He started talking about woke DEI policies. By the way, there are no gender quotas in the military. By the way, he fired more than a dozen military leaders, many of them people of color and women. He fired the chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, General Charles Brown Jr., who is African-American. Yeah. He fired the first woman to command the Navy, Admiral Lisa Franchetti. I don't understand the sort of hypocrisy of firing these people, having all these people meet together and then denigrating them.
But did you look at it? They're looking at him like he has two heads.
Well, they didn't applaud the beginning of that clip you just saw. The president is President Trump said, If you want to applaud, you applaud. If you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, and then you heard the rest. There goes your rank in your future.
But by the way, every one of these men and women in this room has been taught the entire time they've been in service that it is apolitical. You're not right, left, you're not red, blue, you're not Republican, Democrat. They don't show their politics because what you're doing on the battlefield is above politics. So they're not going to applaud, they're not going to cheer, they're not going to boo. They're going to show up and listen to the commander-in-chief. But to Sarah's point, I've literally sat in the VTC, like video conference room in the Pentagon. We could have done this a lot easier and a lot cheaper and talked to people all around the world.
Come on.